It's way too early in the morning, and the patio is littered with toys because some cat refuses to put them away when he's done with them. But it's a beautiful day. Specifically, it's a beautiful day to smoke a pork butt. So, I have this 4-pound boneless butt that is about to become the victim. Voila! All washed and waxed and buffed and patted dry. It's ready for a generous dose of Larry Wolfe's Wolf Rub Original. This is my favorite go-to for pork. And don't be afraid to pile it on. I call that about ready. So it's time to visit the grill. Got to get this beast started early because I want it to slow smoke for probably 6 or 7 hours. Meaning I'm up entirely too early. The grill has been preheated to the point of melting lead to make sure that anything that has moved in since I last used it is encouraged to leave. I've had some apple chips soaking for a while, ready to go in. And it's time to get this show on the road. Now I want to run this at somewhere around 275 degrees F. I don't want it any higher than 300, but the lower and slower the better. So I'm hooking up the Maverick to keep track of all of that for me. And we'll check back in a few hours. And naturally, just when I turn the camera on, the neighbor decides to mow his yard. It figures. Anyway, it's just about there. Back later, 3 hours into the cook, holding its temperature nicely. And it's time for another sneak peek. Peek-a-boo. Getting nice color. Alright. Shut it and leave it alone. Whoops. That's why you shut it and leave it alone. You better get it, killer. Now while the butt is doing its thing, we're going to need tater salad. So we whack up a couple of taters. Into arbitrary chunks, because they're going to get smushed anyway. Throw them all in a pot and boil them. Probably about 10 minutes until they're easy enough to smush up. Okay, the taters had their 10 minutes and they passed the smush test. They're done. Thoroughly drain them, toss them in. All of you come out of there. Now we need some minced onion. Same with some celery. No fingers. Come back here. And I'm throwing in some odds and ends of a couple of jalapenos, just for the surprise factor. That's good enough. Same with a dill pickle. Now a little mayo for this much, probably a quarter of a cup, maybe a little more. Maybe a couple of teaspoons of mustard. This is a good German mustard. And a glob of horseradish. That much. A little for me. And bacon. Gotta have bacon. Couple or three slices. Except for what I eat. A half teaspoon or so of basil. similar amount of dill weed. And celery seed. Salt. Pepper. And maybe a tablespoon of EVOO. And now we smush it all together thoroughly. This will take a few minutes. Go do something. Go check your email or something. I'll be back. And when it passes the taste test, last thing in, a couple of coarsely chopped hard-boiled eggs. I had them at the last minute because they're fragile and you don't want to be mushing them too much or they just plain disappear. So they just get gently mixed in. And this goes and sits in the fridge while everybody gets to know one another. And we wait for the butt to finish. Yes, I know, you're starving. Yum. You don't like potato salad. You know that. Now after 6.5 hours, when it does this, it's done. And yum is it good. I'll let it, I'll stop chewing and then say, I'll let it sit for about a half hour and then pull it all apart and do something with it. Alrighty, it's rested for a half hour and that's all it gets. Oh. Get off of here, you string. It just falls apart. And I think that's enough for the moment. I'm hungry. It's time to build a sandwich. Actually, I think this is going to be a twofer. One sandwich of this is not going to be good enough. It doesn't really need anything as is, but I'm giving it just a drizzle of this sweet Vidalia onion barbecue sauce. And top it with just a little slaw. Fresh from the Publix deli. And that's ready. Yum. And there we have it. Pulled pork sandwiches, tater salad, a regular salad, and the final touch. The salad has a little of everything in it. Tossed with some EVOO, some lemon juice, and a little basil. Some blue cheese crumbled on top. And of course, excuse me, I have oinkery to commit.